Hi, my name is Andy Hargreaves. I'm the Thomas More Brennan Chair in Education in the Lynch School of Education at Boston College in the United States. As you'll guess from my accent, I'm originally from England, where I was an elementary school teacher and university lecturer, and also spent a significant part of my life in Canada. I do research on educational change, and particularly high performance and its effects on teachers and school leaders in different parts of the world. And on this video, I'd like to discuss with you a book written with my colleague and friend Michael Fullan on the theme of what we call professional capital. We didn't decide to start out writing a book with the title of Professional Capital. We were really writing a book about the quality of teaching and the future of the teaching profession. But it was an idea we stumbled on as we got into the middle of it. And the reason was this. A lot of people were saying, and in a way it was good news, that the most important factor that affects the quality of student learning in the school is the quality of teaching and the quality of the teacher. And the way they thought of this was in terms of what's called human capital. And human capital is not how much money you have, but human capital are the individual assets, skills, qualifications, capabilities that you bring with you into teaching when you begin as a teacher, when you qualify as a teacher, and to some extent when you develop as a teacher. And important as this idea is in policy, it seemed to be pushing people in some interesting directions. Some were saying more teachers needed master's degrees. Some were saying we needed to raise the bar more on teacher selection. And some were saying also we needed to evaluate teachers more carefully. And we now find ourselves, especially in the US, in a world where teacher evaluation systems are trying to judge the individual competence or human capital of teachers, concentrate on rewarding those at the top and removing those at the bottom. It's less clear about what to do with those in the middle. And when Michael Fullan and I, based on all the work that we have done in different countries such as Canada and the US, looked at what the research was saying on what improved the quality of teaching, this didn't really seem to strike home with us and to fit and seemed to be misguided. So our response was really like this. That first, there was something that seemed to us to be wrong with the concept of human capital. That human capital should not just be about people at the extremes, but we really need to be thinking about how to move all of the teaching profession forward, not just a few at the top and a few at the bottom. So somehow we needed to reconceive what we meant by human capital and bringing the brightest and the best into teaching. And then secondly, there seemed to be something missing in relation to human capital. And that is really not the capital that we have individually, but the capital that we have together as a community. Since the 1970s, we've known how this works in communities. People like Robert Putnam have written about this in their book, Bowling Alone. We are stronger as communities when we trust each other, when we work together, when we are collaborative, when we're not isolated or at each other's throats. And the same is true in a school and in a teaching community. And we cite work from a business school professor, Carrie Liana, in New York City, that fairly compellingly, in relation to fifth grade outcomes, indicates that when you take measures of teachers' individual human capital, their skills and qualifications, and measures of their social capital, how well they work together, who are their colleagues, what the levels of trust are like in a school, social capital adds value to human capital. So wherever you are, the relationships you have with your colleagues will improve your performance over time, whatever level you begin. But human capital, the quality you have as an individual, does not add value to social capital. So really, in a sense, we're saying second, that we need to put much more emphasis not on career tracks for teachers or evaluation or individual rewards, but incentives that will really get teachers and their leaders to work together more effectively with the time and support and focus to bring about changes that are compellingly important for their students. Now we have two kinds of capital. but there seemed to be a third one missing. And that is, what happens to teachers over time? What happens to them through the course of their career? How do they develop the capacities for judgment, making decisions, thousands a day that teachers have to make, when the evidence isn't cast iron certain about what exactly they should do at every moment? And the research on other professions, music, cookery, any other area you care to name, is that according to Malcolm Gladwell and the people he cites, this takes about 10,000 hours in teaching, about 8 years. So you're really on top of the job, absolutely in the zone, can improvise a strategy at any moment that is at your fingertips for the circumstances that are calling on you, that you need to provide for your students. And decisional capital is really not just about 8 years of practice and repetition of doing something, but it's also 8 years of challenge, stretching, being coached, being mentored, trying a new subject, a new grade, a new concept, a new unit of work. When you add these three things together, human capital, social capital, what we have together, decisional capital, how we develop judgment over time, it brings it together in what we call professional capital. Professional capital is, if you want to get investment, if you want to get a return from teaching in terms of the quality of learning, we have to make an investment in teaching and the quality of teaching. We have to make investments in time, training, recruitment, support, collaboration, and especially leadership, so that teachers together can be better than what they are alone, and so that they can build their competence, expertise, and judgment over time, creating many happy returns for all our children in the generations to come.